Hi, today I want to show you how to make this bar chart where I have the top three marked with diamonds, yellow diamonds, to show that they're the top three. I'm going to do that with the placement of the diamond is going to be with a field called diamond placement. And then I'm also going to have a color top three, which is going to control the color and it's going to mark the shape so that it finds the top three using rank. So in order to do that, I'm going to drag fruit from the data pane on the left, and I'm going to drop it on the row shelf. And then I'm going to drag sales to the column shelf. And now I need to create those two fields. So in the data pane, I click the drop down arrow and say create calculated field. And the first one is going to be called diamond placement. And this is going to be a simple calculation, sum of sales. And I want it to be times 0.95. So this is the placement of those diamonds. Oops. So I'm saying I don't want it to be quite at the end of the line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the diamond placement measure field and drop it on the right side of the column shelf. And Tableau creates two charts down here, sales and diamond placement. And I'd like it to be one chart so that they're on top of each other. So I'm going to click the drop down arrow on that field and I'm going to say dual axis. And you'll notice it now changed to a super bubble indicating it's a dual axis chart. And at the top, I have a diamond placement axis here, and I don't really need that. But I do want to point out something. Notice that it runs from 0 to 14, and at the bottom, it runs from 0 to 16. And I'll show you why that matters in just a second. And I'll remove that axis at the top. For now, I want to make that second field. So I'm going to say create calculated field. And this one is going to be called color top three. It's actually going to assign color and shape. And it's a simple rank calculation. I just say rank them by sum of sales, return 1, 2, and 3 as the top three. It's a text at that point. And then if it's not one of the top threes, it's just going to be a blank text or string. So I'm going to say okay there. And now what I would like to do on my marks card, you may have noticed that when I added that diamond placement field, Tableau on the marks card gave me a new layer called diamond placement. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to change it from a bar type and I want it to be a shape type mark. And now you'll see I have circles there. And just for demonstration, I'm going to show you what happens when we're going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on. Maybe a little bit bigger than that. Okay, I don't need measure names to be on the color tile. I'm going to take that off, but I am going to drag over that new field color top three, and I'm going to drag it on the shape tile. And you notice that because it's a shape chart, I now have that new tile called shape. So I'm going to drop it there, and I'd like to configure it. So I'm going to double click on it. And I have two choices. I have it's either top three or it's a blank string. I'm going to go ahead and pick top three. And over on the right, I'm going to say, I want to select the shape palette called Filled, and I'm going to look for the diamond. So that's good. It's a black diamond. That's okay right now. And then for the circle, I'm going to click on that on the left. And this time I'm going to assign a transparent shape to that. And I have that under Custom Shapes. And you really can't see it because it's transparent. It's just a simple ping file that's transparent. But as you move your mouse, you'll notice that a box appears indicating that that's a shape. So I'm going to click on that. And let's see if I can assign it. Sorry, it's hard to do when it's transparent. It's hard to grab it. There we go. Got it. So it's a transparent shape. It's gone now. And I'm going to say OK. So you'll notice that those little squares went away and you can't see them anymore. The other thing that you can do is you can actually assign a color to it to make them go away. And for that, you would just drag the color top three and drag it and drop it onto color. Click the color tile, and then you can assign colors. I want my top three to be the golden color. I think that's nice. But the blue circle, or the blue square, I should say, I can change that color to also be transparent. So that's another thing that you can do. In my select color palette, I go down and at the very bottom, I have one here called transparent. And I created that. It shows up as a black square, but if you move your mouse over it, you'll notice it says pound 000000. The only way to make this is to do it in the preferences file. So I'll show you that at the end. But this is how you would assign a transparent color to something. Whoops, sorry. Trying to grab it so I can assign it. That is so hard to grab. There we go. Okay, so now I have it's black, but that means transparent. So I say okay here, and now they've changed to be yellow bars, or excuse me, yellow diamonds. I'm going to put the size back down to normal. So it's kind of at the end. That's okay. All right, so earlier I said, you notice how the top axis is 0 to 14 and the bottom is 0 to 16. So that's why, even though I said 0.95, it's still at the end of the bar, and I don't want that. I want them to be synchronized. And in order to do that, you right-click on the axis, and you say Synchronize Axis. And now they're going to change to be both 0 to 16, and that triangle now looks like it's in the right place. So you do need to do that. I usually leave them up until I've made that change, and then I come up here to the diamond placement, and the field I uncheck Show Header, and that's going to get rid of that axis at the top. But that's something that if you forget to synchronize it, it's not going to look quite right. So the other thing that I can do is in Sum of Sales, I'm going to go to that layer on the marks card. It's still a bar, but I wanted it to be a little bit thicker bar. So I'm going to come in here and make this a little bit bigger. And that kind of makes the triangle pop out a little bit more. So that's something else that you can do to control where you want to put the place or the shape. So in order to do transparent shapes, I mentioned that you have to add the ping file to your Tableau repository. So let me show you where that is. I'm on a Mac, and for me, it's going to be under the Documents folder, and there's a file called folder called My Tableau Repository, and if you click on that, you'll notice that you have shapes here, and you also have your Preferences.tps file. So for the shapes, I just go into that folder, and I made a folder called Custom, and I simply put that transparent shape in here. So if I was to open this ping file, it's just blank. There's nothing there. And again, that'll be in the download. And then for the preferences TPS file, in order to add that color, what you want to do is, I'm going to go ahead and edit this. Let's see, so you can see it. Okay, here we go. And I put a copy of this file in the download too, so you can download it if you want. But you notice here I have the color as FFFF00. That means it's a transparent. I named it transparent. You can call it anything you want. But this is also how you can add your custom business colors or whatever if you use certain colors for your business so that they're available to use in Tableau. So that's the preferences TPS file. And I also called that out here on the right of the instructions so that you could see we do have the preferences TPS file as well as the custom shape. It's just a file, ping file that we dropped in there. So that is how we create this diamond chart. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.